Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 19 of season 2 of the World of Presentation podcast brought to you by us at 356 Labs. My name is Boris. I'm going to be your host today yet again. However, with me today is someone who is not a speaker, does not run a presentation agency or anything of that sort. However, she is very much involved in inviting speakers to events, and not just events, but some of the most premium events, at least in the Microsoft space. Her name is Elena Lalovska, and she, together with her co-founder, are running a company that made a huge impression on me. I think what was it, Elena? Last year you started the organization of, and more or less created the Global Excel Summit, right?
Yeah.
It was last year. Yeah, so that was the first time I was really impressed by somebody who showed from the first moment that they really care about they cared about, first of all, the speakers, how they operate an event, what it means to create a premium event. So I'm super happy to have her here. So she brings us behind the scenes of how you organize an event like that. So Elena, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Perfect. So we have a lot to talk about, but let's start with DATEL Productions and you. What is happening? Tell us a little bit about DATEL.
Well, DATEL Productions is a company that we founded with Tea Kuseva together, and it was born from the idea of, we basically had corporate jobs, and we were working, living the corporate life, 9-to-5 job in the office every day, and we were both doing things that we were passionate about, but it was never done the way we would like it to be, so to speak.
Okay.
Obviously, it's someone else's baby.
Yeah. Okay.
So at the time, Tea was working at Apple, and she was doing a lot of internal projects with Excel and numbers and combining stuff and just exploring that whole industry. And she discovered a true passion for Excel. So around that, she kind of dove into the world of Excel. It took about a year to take courses, do some research, and really, truly, her passion exploded, so to speak. So we had a sit down one day and we thought, you know what, there's something here. If you can be so passionate about something, clearly you're not alone. My passion is bringing people together and finding common interests, connecting people, and ensuring a safe environment for them to share ideas and grow. Yeah. So having those two things, we just started doing research, and that's kind of how our first idea for the Global Excel Summit was born. So to come back to your initial question, DATEL is a company that partners with industry experts and forms brands out of events.
Yeah, that's the answer.
That's the answer. That's how I describe it.
Okay, I'm so, when you say what you said about there is just so interesting when you combine the words Apple, like a company, like the company itself, and then Excel. It's like Apple, Excel. It's just,
I know.
it is so strange. But anyhow, so you decided to create this event company. Can we say it? Can we kind of name it?
Company.
Event production company.
Yes.
And it looks like, or at least every single time I was just on the website, and now you have completely revamped the Global Excel Summit, right?
Yes, we have.
You are going to use a completely different platform for the summit because it had to be a really big event in London. Mm-hmm. When was it supposed to happen? What was the day? It was way before COVID, or not?
No, it was right during the London lockdown. It was supposed to happen in April. And the idea was that we were going to get, 2,000 people in one place.
Yeah.
Which clearly could not happen because we couldn't leave our homes.
Yeah.
And I mean, when COVID exploded, you know, in the beginning, I think no one really took it seriously because
Okay.
no one had seen anything like it. So we all thought, you know, we're going to be fine and this is going to blow over and it's just the flu.
Yeah.
Obviously, turned
It
out
didn't.
completely different. So, well, yeah, we couldn't really do anything physical. We thought about going virtual right away, but you know, that takes planning and it takes just a lot of organizing and moving all of these things and
Mm.
communicating to not only the participants but also everyone who wants to attend. So we did take a little bit of time to get organized and do our research properly, and now we're back on track,
Yeah.
coming back in February.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we have found the most incredible platform that we will use. I think people will love it.
Yeah.
It
What is the name of the platform?
So the platform is called Alive.
Yeah.
They are based in Turkey and they were founded in 2008, I believe. They're very big in the gaming
Wow.
industry.
Okay. Okay.
So they have now come up with a concept for online conferences. Their platform is an island. And the reason
Yeah.
why it's an island is because they wanted to create something that feels COVID free. And I thought,
Hmm.
how beautiful to just take that and integrate it. And so their platform works with augmented reality, virtual reality, and extended reality, which I'm not sure if you know what it is,
I
but
know.
basically, yeah. Because honestly, when I heard, I kind of stood back and I wasn't even sure what all of these things mean.
Yeah.
You can create your own avatar inside. It's just a whole different level, and it kind of reminded me of Sims, if you've ever played it.
Yeah. 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 I
I
remember that one.
love Sims, and when I saw this platform, I thought, how cool. So we've partnered up with them, and they've been truly amazing. I think it's great to see a company work so hard to give people the experience as close as possible to what they would have had if it was a physical event.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's that.
Yeah. That's that. Yeah. Definitely. There are a lot of platforms out there. Obviously, we also export. Like I personally went on and did probably 20 or 25 calls and demos with various platforms for our event.
Yes,
And yeah,
a great
it's
platform
just
as well.
so many. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just so many. And all of them are very, you can say, they always feel the same, you know.
yeah,
But that one indeed is a very different one. Once you see the promo video there, because it is a secret that when I decided to do the Present to Succeed conference, the first, more or less the first person that I reached out to Thea was actually Thea, so that I pick her brain on some event stuff. I was like,
mhm.
let me ask her some
She's
questions that
a
I have
great person
probably.
to ask.
Yeah, definitely. So
You
I
made a
was,
good choice there.
I picked her brain a lot. Even up until today, I'm like shooting her emails, like, what would you do if this happens? So I'm constantly,
I mean,
asking some things.
Chea is a great person to ask about anything event related. She has been in the industry and she has seen, and the research she does is so extensive that
Mm,
having her on your team is a truly big plus.
yeah, I can agree for sure. Like she's not, I haven't worked with her like as part of the same team, but we have been in close collaboration because of Global Excel Summit, and it's just so, she makes it so easy, and the whole team that you guys have there that's running this event just makes it so easy for every speaker. Like that is so much appreciated by speakers. So that's why I also wanted to bring you guys in to talk about what are you doing, like how are you approaching
Mhm.
the speaker type of communication, because you're an event organizer. The people who are listening to this are either already speaking at events,
Mhm.
right? Just starting maybe, or some of them will be asked even to speak at events.
Yes.
And so I think it will be really cool if we can go behind the scenes and kind of reveal some of the things that happen behind the scenes between an event organizer that cares about their event truly, as you are doing, and the speaker, right? So if we have to start from somewhere, what would you say, like what is the starting point for you as the event organizers in regards to the speakers and the communication with them? Like, for example, probably the first thing that you are doing is, I don't know, correct me here, but you're probably going through a speaker list and saying, hey, who should I invite, right? Who should be...
No.
No? Okay.
No.
That's why I said,
But
correct me if I'm wrong.
Paul, I am really, really happy to hear that you are feeling good with our internal communications and that you feel that it's been very easy. This is very important for us.
Yeah.
In terms of speaker selection, so to speak, as I said, we do very, very extensive research at the beginning of every project.
Okay.
And as you know, the Global Excel Summit is in collaboration with Randy Austin.
Yes.
Randy Austin has been in the Excel industry for years, and he has succeeded greatly. His work is incredible, and he has been kind of the backbone into helping us see and navigate this industry that we walked into and we weren't really sure about because we haven't really been a part of it. So he played a huge role in helping us kind of navigate these waters. We have also a partner, Alan Murray, who we do our London meetup groups with, and he was also a great help in this process. So, I mean, all great people, everyone who we've had the pleasure to kind of be introduced to has been amazing, and they're all so talented, and I mean, so are you. Which is, it's incredible to see so many people just kind of come together, and I'm glad that we're finally going to get to experience it in February. In terms of further communication for us, it's very important in the beginning of a project to draft up a contract. We really believe that contracts kind of, set your expectations, the speaker's expectations. It's very, very important. So, we do that.
And you did it in a very cool way, by the way. Like, you are not like the typical organization that will send you some Word files or whatever. It's this 1998 type of feeling. There was something like you were using something like DocuSign or Adobe Sign, something similar to that, which was just, hey, here is a contract. Take a look. You can just click and it will sign it. Right?
Yeah,
it's just...
we're not trying to make anyone's life hard, and the reason why we do everything we do is so both parties understand exactly what to expect, and we don't want disappointment from anyone. We don't want either one of the parties to be in a position where they feel awkward. It's very important for us to have our speakers comfortable, which is why we try to keep them constantly updated with the changes that we're making. We try to put out calendars to kind of help them understand what we're looking at, how we're trying to proceed. And these calendars, we try to keep them very personalized in terms of the guest speakers, because obviously if we shared a calendar with everything that needs to happen, it would be just very overwhelming.
It would be insane.
So we try to feed them only the information they need, and we're constantly open to feedback. We're trying to always kind of improve everything that we're doing. So we're open to ideas. We're very kind of open. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to work with you and get the most out of it. So I do hope you feel that way too.
I personally received at least, maybe at some point I kind of stopped looking at who exactly from the team is shooting emails, but I personally would confirm that at least 2 or 3 times I got the question, hey, what do you think about this? Do you have any feedback? Like, what should we improve? On and on and on and on. And by the way, that is, first of all, that is very rare to see, right? But yet the people and the organizations that do it, truly do it, right? Not just talk about it or whatever, are at the end the organizations that succeed big time, right? I mean, that is something that for the first moment when I was kind of exposed to Global Excel Summit, I stopped and we had this internal discussion with the people around me that this is the first time I'm seeing somebody creating an event for not digital, I don't know, like social media or some like sexier topic, if you wish, right?
Yes.
But a topic that's Excel, which for many people is sexy, but still, right? But not for that many.
Yes.
And yet, you and what you were doing and the way it was presented was super premium, right? And we actually collaborated on some presentation materials, templates, on and on and on. So our agency helped you out with all of that stuff. And when they hired us to do that, I was like, how many conferences do I know? And I know, I would say quite a lot, because I've been quite like at some places, care about the way their sponsor presentation look.
Yes.
Like I was like, how many are there, right? And we did a lot of, I probably, you have seen the presentation at the end, those hand drawn, there were hand drawn elements, like there were a lot of things inside. Yeah, so like when all of those things happened, the presentation, the template, the way it was communicated, the landing pages that you have built, I was like, these people, this team, this company is thinking in a completely different way for an event, like an event for an Excel. I was like, this is something very interesting. We really have to be very close to you guys, because it's truly, truly interesting to monitor what you are doing and kind of setting up the expectations for, hey, this is how it should be done, right? This is how it should be done. So how did you end up from the get-go? Because this is your first event, Global Excel Summit is the first event,
Yes.
of DATEL, right?
After I guess it's the first. Yes, we had the financial modeling summit.
Yeah, but that was after,
Yes.
planned after, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. How did you end up and like coming up with that mindset and thinking that maybe that's the better way, right? A lot of people do it this way, we'll do it that way. Like how did you came up with that, I don't know, insight, if you wish, so to
Well,
use some other words?
we are. I would say we're not the conventional business, so to speak.
Mm,
Don't try to do things the way that the big companies, small companies, or whatever companies do them. We
mm.
try to stay true to our nature as humans. And we
Okay.
don't treat this like a money making machine, if you will. We treat this as a partnership that we have between each other and other people.
Yep.
And so our communications and everything we do is in respect to exactly that. We're not going to do something if we can't give it our all. And
Mm.
our bar is set so high personally, maybe that reflects on in our job. It's I mean,
Yeah.
I don't we've never kind of, sat down and said we're going to do this like that because of whatever reason,
Yeah.
you know. Obviously, if we encounter something that is not very nice from personally from another company, we then take note to not do this or do this differently. But
Mm.
I think it all just kind of happened naturally. This is all the way
Yeah,
we
you
are. I mean,
yeah.
this is honestly, Datel is kind of a reflection of who we are as people.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good, by the way, to hear that. Like when you say it, it's like, that sounds good to say. Anyway, yeah, it is true. I think that this is so much like this is completely true. You can feel and you can every single communication, the way you speak about events, the way you act in regards to those events always shows that. So back to the presenters and to the speakers. Once someone helps you out with the speaker list, or you have like a final speaker list, what is important for you in regards to the speakers for the events that you are organizing? Like what's important for you as the event organizer?
well, for us, we have one thing that's important is that they're
Mm.
comfortable and that we're
Okay.
consistent, and that they're prepared.
Okay.
So for us, it's very important, as you said, your agency helped us out with a template for the speakers to
Mm.
do their presentation in, because we wanted to keep everything consistent, everything clean. We don't want the speakers sitting there and kind of struggling over how to format their presentations.
Yeah.
We want their expertise. We want them to be passionate about this, and we want it to happen easy.
Mm.
Which is why we have supplied this along with other materials.
Yeah.
We It's important to have a dry run before the event because we
Yeah.
want everyone to feel comfortable. We want everyone to test everything. We want to know if something doesn't feel right or something doesn't work, so we have time to change it.
Yeah.
Because only then will the audience truly be able to connect rather than feel like they're in school,
Yeah.
which is something we all want to avoid. um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's about just communicating. This is why we try to go back and forth, and really each person is different. Each person needs different things as a
Mm.
speaker and as a professional, and they work on different schedules and
Yeah.
different time zones. So just trying to figure all of that out, it takes time, and you got to allow
Yeah.
yourself to have that time.
By the way, we have to put in here some shameless plug that we're talking about Global Excel Summit for so long now. And at the same time, everybody who is doing and working with Excel on a daily basis, not on a weekly, but on a daily basis, and you guys are a lot, you really have to check out the Global Excel Summit if you're still not part of it, because like the lineup there is just insane. I mean, you really brought some of the brightest minds in the Excel community to speak at that event,
It's
right?
incredible. I mean, we have so many Microsoft MVPs and YouTube
Yeah,
stars and just really some of the best professionals in the world.
yeah.
And it's crazy to have so much talent in one place.
Yeah, in one place. That is complete. And look how it sounds. YouTube stars on
I
the
know,
topic of Excel.
I
Like,
know.
what is going on with our world? That is so nice. Anyway,
You
yeah,
know, we have Layla, one of our
yep.
speakers. Um, her YouTube
She's
videos
super cool.
are incredible because they
Mm,
really remind me of, YouTube videos that they do for makeup or whatever
yeah, yeah,
that's happening. And they're short, they're dynamic, and you see that, yeah, it could be Excel, but there is a whole industry of Excel influencers, if you will,
yeah,
that
yeah,
do
absolutely.
the same as all the stars on Instagram or whatever they are.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. I mean, but it is true. There, her videos, for example, are like really cool,
Yes,
right? And she herself is really cool person, and you
yes.
can see. Yeah, you can. I don't know if you know her in
Lovely.
person. Do you know her in
I
person? Do
haven't
you
met
have?
her
You
personally.
haven't?
No,
Oh, okay.
I have
She's really cool.
chatted with her. Yes.
Yeah. So all of that for the speakers, all of that. So the consistency, the preparation, you're expecting the speakers also, especially in this virtual environment nowadays with the new platform, right? To do a dry run,
Yes.
right? And that is also going to be done in a specific time frame,
Mhm.
right? There was like for the Global Excel Summit, I believe will be like 15 days maybe before the event or something like this. I
Yeah.
saw the calendar more or less, more or less,
Yeah. Yeah.
more or less. Okay, so is there anything that, for example, so that is in regards to preparation? By the way, I would completely agree with what you said that every you try to make it very personal for the speakers, because even today I shot an email to Thea, because there was, you send this calendar that up
Yeah.
until whatever December there should be the first draft of the presentation sent.
I think it's yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, and I said to, by the way, hopefully not that many people from the speakers will listen to that, but I said to Thea, you know that you shouldn't be worrying about my slides, right? But still, we'll provide you something just to let you know that it won't be final. But yet again, the fact that it won't be final shouldn't make you worry about it, right? I mean, exactly from my end, it shouldn't worry you that much. So yeah, I was like, and she was like, of course, don't worry about it, on and on and on. So a very, very personal communication with everybody, right? That is something that you should be expecting. What do you expect from the speakers before the event and during the event, throughout the event? Are there any expectations? Obviously, you're put in a very good position to work with some of the best, right?
Yes.
Which makes your life very easy, right?
Yes.
Because they know what to do. They are very, like, in order for them to become who they became, it's now obvious that they know what to do. But what are your kind of, if you have to name some things, like what do you expect from them before the event to do or to tell you or to say, to kind of ask for? Is there anything there?
I don't really think so. I don't have particular expectations for anyone besides what's in their contract.
Which
So
is okay. Yeah, clear.
to be honest, uh, we are completely flexible. And as I said, truly what I expect is for everyone to dive into their field. This is
Okay.
what I expect. And I expect to see passionate presentations, and I expect them to be pumped about it, and I expect networking. These are the things I expect. I don't really expect any kind of requests, if that's what you
Okay.
mean, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there is a lot of like there is constantly, for example, at the beginning of the communication with the speaker, they have to submit, let's say, a topic, an
Yes,
abstract,
of course.
all those things. Like, how do you check those? How do you communicate if you want to? Were, were there any situations at all when you saw an abstract or a topic that they suggested and you were like, that's not the one that we're looking for. Can you try something else? Were there any type of moments like this?
The only reason why we would suggest an alteration of topic would be if there is more than one speaker talking about the same thing.
Okay, repeating
But
sessions more or less.
yeah. But to be honest, we are trying to keep people passionate. We are trying to keep people engaged. And
Okay.
we believe that each speaker should have the opportunity to choose what they want to talk about in order to be able to radiate this topic and kind of speak from the heart, because
Yeah.
only then will the people listen. And because we have such incredible speakers, including you, of course, you all have your own following. You all have people who follow your work and follow your agencies or your channels or whatever it is. They want to hear from you. They don't want to hear something that I imposed on you.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not trying to push anything
No, we
towards
don't.
speaker.
No, truly, the Global Excel Summit is a community that we're trying to form. And you can't form
Mm.
a community if you're sitting there delegating what everyone should do. We're trying to come up with ways that people can interact even when it is online and even when we can't meet personally. But there are obviously negatives to the fact that you can't meet someone in person, but we have found so many positives that we couldn't even expect to see now that it has all gone virtual.
Mm.
So it's just kind of going with the flow and accepting everything that comes
Yeah.
your way, because how else are you going to build a community of any sort?
Yeah, that is true. I can imagine that the change was like huge. Like when this whole, you had some serious plans in regards to being in person,
Oh,
right?
we had everything set. Everything was set.
Yeah.
We had just all the organization was kind of done, and this happened. And honestly, when we first kind of understood that we're going to have to move the summit but also consider going virtual, it was a shock. Initially we were
Yeah.
kind of, stunned, because we had to alter our whole mindset of what we can do and what we can give and deliver. But honestly, it turned out for the best. At least now we know that we can do all of that and we can supply what we've promised, and people can still be safe and be at home
Mm.
and not have to
Yeah.
worry, because what's happening is crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And the unfortunate thing I think was that this was the first event, right? Like it was about to be the first to
Yes,
be in person, and then the first changed virtually
yes,
in a
yes.
way that for everyone was like, wait, what?
I
So
know.
now we have like now we have to do completely virtual. Like how are we going to do this? Is it Zoom? Is it like what is it? Yeah, it can
We
be
had the
problem.
same exact questions, but because we're so passionate about it, it kind of, I mean, when you want to do something, you just find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And uh, through the London Excel meetups and through all of these even master classes and these kind of get togethers in small pockets for different reasons of people, for people to get together for different reasons, it has showed us that there is a need for connection, and there is a need for people to talk about these topics, and they want to be there.
Yeah.
We haven't, now our meetups, we've seen a growth in the number that people that in attendees, because now it's, you don't have to travel. People can do it from the comfort of their own
Yeah.
home. And this is actually such a plus that we would have never considered if it wasn't for COVID.
Yeah. What do you think, by the way, is the future of events? Is it virtual? Is it in person? Is it hybrid? What's your take here?
Honestly, I think both have great positives. You can't deny the human connection when someone is in front of you. You can't deny that, but at the same time, you can't also deny the fact that virtual events can literally connect the whole world without having to travel, without having all these expenses around your travels.
Yeah.
It's not just, buying your ticket, it's also having to come to the country if you don't live here, and having to secure somewhere to sleep and all of that. I think honestly it's hybrid. Everything in life needs a balance, and so do
Yeah. That's well said. I like that one. I like that one. So probably the next big event that you're going to be planning will be hybrid.
Well,
yeah.
After. Yes. I would say, let's see, after everything stabilizes, for sure it will be such a pleasure to have something in person, but also allow people access who can't physically make it there.
Yeah. I heard a lot of when we were doing the conference now for April, I look at it not only from the perspectives that you just mentioned that make it just work when it's virtual, it makes it so much easier. But when you look at it, because you are also an event organizer, from the sponsor point of view, it's just insane. I mean, sponsors care about people going there, seeing them, talking with them, like downloading some type of things, taking some materials, etc. And when I first was exposed to, like, which one, I believe it was Hopin, maybe, like the platform, and I saw how much data these events gather, right, in regards to Excel. By the way, you can export them into Excel, which is normal, which is now normal. When I saw the data, when I saw the details in the Excel spreadsheets, I was like, wow, that is not possible in an in-person event, right? The amount of data that those events are getting in an in-person fashion, you cannot match the virtual type of thing, right? It's just impossible. Like, how are you going to know how many people stayed for how long engaged at your booth?
Yes, I mean,
in an in-person event, like, that is not even, you cannot measure that. I mean, it is not measurable. Who took the brochure?
Yes.
Yeah, like, what, you're going to scan everybody that takes a brochure like they do in the US, which is super annoying, by the way, for the European people. I don't know. Yeah,
there are ways, physical brochures are great, and having kind of physical things to take away from someone's booth is amazing, but there's also a practice where you walk in, you have your own QR code, they scan it, they get all your information,
yep,
they get your email, they get everything, and then you get all the brochures that you want sent to your email. So
yep.
not only is it convenient in terms of what you're talking about, but it also saves the environment, and you have everything in one place. You're not going to lose it. It's just, there's positives and negatives in everything.
To everything. Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, how is your event going?
Oh, we are just wrapping up everything that needs to happen. How can I say it? It's you probably experienced it yourself a lot of times, but getting the people that we want to get, right? The speakers that we want to get, is not as easy as it seems for somebody. And for the attendee, they just look at the speaker list and they say, ooh, these are some incredible people that are going to be here, because we are also inviting like our speaker list. Even today, it's November the 12th that we are recording this. I recently received some comments on LinkedIn that people are amazed by the rock star lineup of the event. And they really have zero idea how much time and effort it is to get those people and to convince them to join. Like, it's not that easy. The fact that there is a cool event doesn't mean that every speaker will accept to speak. And we, by the way, did you get refusals for your event? Did somebody refuse to speak? Do you remember?
We don't tend to take no for an answer.
Okay, that, by the way, that is a clever strategy if you really think about it. Okay, I will have that in mind.
That's why people want to speak.
Okay, yeah, okay, well, I would have that in mind, because I took no for an answer from some of the speakers.
Your event is looking really, really great. I am truly looking forward to it. Everything that you guys have done, you've used Big Marker.
We probably will use them or Hopin. We'll see which one of those, because, for example, Big Marker are now, we're in negotiations for pricing there, because they gave us a price for the platform and for what we wanted to do, and then they more or less tripled the price with no reason. I was like, since when is this triple the price? Like, it was expensive in first place. so why is it now 3 times more expensive than it was? Oh, you want to use a custom font in your platform, because you see how we care about small details. Right? Like, the font of a website is important. I cannot be using Calibri all across the platform. It will be ugly. Like, we position those events, and the Global Excel Summit and all of those events, we position them as premium events. Right? And you expect a premium look and feel, you expect premium communication, you expect premium sessions, you expect like everything to be premium, right? I mean, if somebody tells you that this is a premium event and sells it to you as a premium event, you're like, okay, I expect premium event. You log into a platform and it's Calibri font, everything is misaligned, the icons are different style, you're like, what the hell is going on in here? Like, who are those people here? So yeah, I believe that all of that stuff really matters in regards to making it. I recently, and that is related to Apple as a company, somebody who we work with said that what made Steve Jobs great, he's not a presenter or somebody, but a business person. What made Steve Jobs great was that the story that he had for each and every presentation and the way he was delivering it was outstanding. Not exactly the design he said. I was like, you're wrong.
Beg to differ.
Yeah, I'm like, you're wrong. I completely agree, because we also work on the story and on the delivery, but the design is also part of it. It's just that the design was so flawless that you didn't even notice it. And that makes it flawless, right? I mean, that makes it not flawless, but seamless, right? It just serves the purpose. And it's the same with the events. It's the same with the creatives, with the ads that you are running for the events. When you see it and it just
flows,
flawless, you're like, wow, you're not even thinking about it, It's so nice to see a design like that. Anyhow, so how are you, by the way, when you are doing all of that? Like, now the event is coming up very soon, probably, like, what is it, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months and a half, let's say. Yeah, 2 months and a half. How can you said a lot of those things? People, I believe, presenters can kind of think about what you said and say, okay, if she says that they are going to ask me to rehearse the presentation, obviously that's important for them, so let's make their life easier. Rehearse the presentation a few times before that. So obviously rehearsals will be important. But my main question here is, like, if you think about it and if you say, hey, speakers, listen to this one, how can a speaker or speakers or the whole group that you selected make your life, like, can a speaker do something to make your life easier for an event? Because I believe that the most expensive speakers out there, meaning especially in the business world, are not just the brightest top people on the planet in regards to their skills. They're also very easy to work with. No matter the fact that they are like written 7 books, have the most visited YouTube channel or whatever. Like do you have something on top of your head that you would say as an advice to a speaker who is on their way to speak at a very cool event? What should they do? How should they approach it? You said a lot of things, obviously the rehearsals, the consistency of the passion, all of that stuff. But in regards to you as the organizer, what would you expect from them so that your life is easier? Yeah.
I'll tell you, and this one's
Yeah.
directly to you.
Okay.
Meet your deadlines.
That is a good one. Meet your deadlines. Why?
Why? Because if you meet your deadline,
It's a deadline. It's a deadline. Okay.
That ensures that everything will flow seamlessly.
Okay.
These deadlines are there because we do need all the information, and we do need to test everything, and we do need to make sure that when you're presenting, everything is just perfect. This is, why.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean,
it is completely fine, right? Yeah. But by the way, I believe that in the creative world, you can see, and not only in the creative world, people don't get the word deadline like completely. It's a deadline, but tomorrow is also fine.
Yes.
Yeah, but they don't get why is something called a deadline. Yes. There is sometimes a reason behind it. So what happens if somebody, so give us an example so that people know and understand what happens behind the scenes. What can happen if a few of the speakers, let's say, miss the deadline for, let's say, submitting their sessions or doing the rehearsals? Like, what happens for you as a speaker so they understand that they need to care?
So this is not just for us as organizers, this is for them too, because if you don't meet a given deadline, let's say, and obviously we're not gonna be there on the day just waiting, and if you don't hand it in on that day and the next day something will happen. Of course not. We're all adults here, we're working, everyone knows what work means. But if you don't, for example, let's say you don't give a presentation, you just don't hand it in, and you just come on the day. Well, there's a possibility that something in your presentation won't go well, or there's a possibility that something when you're presenting is not going to go well for you, and that's not going to make anyone else look bad. It's going to make the given speaker look unprepared, and that's not what we want. So it's not so much for us, it's for everybody to just know that when the day comes, you're as prepared as you can be, and it's going to go. That's how, if you're prepared, that's when you can really just, as we said, let it flow and present it and do it with passion, not have to worry about, oh, but I don't know what to do here, or, oh, but how do I put my presentation, or how do I, or why can't you see this image, or whatever it is.
How can I share my screen? Wait. Yeah. So deadlines are critical. Critical. Are they part of the contract, by the way? Like, do you put them in the contract also?
What do you mean?
So when you have, like, for example, the deadlines for the submission of the deck, the rehearsals or stuff like that you expect from the speaker, are they also in the speaker contract?
Some of the main deadlines should be. I can't really, I'm not the one who drafts the contract, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I think that they're, for some of the events, especially for the biggest events, they're like, these things are in.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good practice, to be honest. If they're not, surely after this podcast, everything will be updated. So thank you for that.
Pointing it out, because I personally haven't read.
But you should be careful with that one, because
I know. I know. I will be careful. Don't worry about it. I would never position and put anybody at risk. Like, that is the first. I believe that everyone who is speaking at events has to understand that if you think about it, with every single move, every single presentation that you deliver, you first go out there, be that virtually or in person, with your name, right? And your reputation is on the line. So the way you treat the other people, the way you treat the organizers, the way you treat the attendees, every communication, every email shows and builds up your reputation and how people think about you. And I don't know for the people out there, but I would guess that if you're listening to this podcast, you really care about what people think about you as a professional, right? And if that's the case, like act in a professional manner, right?
And at the end of the day, we all want to do this and we all want
Yeah.
to be here. So it's not,
Mm,
me forcing something down your throat. It's
mm.
someone wanting to be there and wanting to do this, and this is the given process.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap this up, you have seen a lot of events, you have analyzed a lot of events, you have been to a lot of events all across. If you have to go back in time and you're like, which is the biggest event mistake that you have ever seen? Like the biggest event failure ever? Like,
Oh,
can you name one? Can you
I
name
don't know. I
something?
don't think I can.
Really?
Yeah. What
Okay.
about you? Do you have one?
That I have seen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I remember one.
What is it?
And it's related to a speaker, by the way. Not meeting the deadlines for sure, not being prepared for sure. So it is related to a speaker. So it is very probably on point. So it happened here in Sofia at a very expensive event.
Uh-huh.
And there was this lady from Facebook. She was a privacy director of Facebook for the region here.
Okay.
So she went on stage.
Yes.
She went on stage, and the first thing she said was, "Sorry, I'm not prepared." And I heard that, and I was like, this is going to explode badly now, because it's when you start with an apology and when you say that you are not prepared for one of the most expensive events for the year, and the room is packed with people that paid for that event, and you are, oh, by the way, in an Eastern European country,
Yeah.
you will struggle for sure. Sooner or later, that is guaranteed. So I was like, when I heard that, I immediately started to go and leave the room, because it's just disrespectful, right? Not being prepared for an audience that paid to listen is just plain and simple disrespectful. And very interesting point is that if you look at it very carefully, you see that the audiences nowadays in Bulgaria and in other countries now know and expect somebody to deliver a top presentation. Like,
Yeah.
they expect it. And what's even worse for us as speakers is they also know what a top presentation means, right? Which is not easy to pull off, right? At all. Because everybody is looking at Apple. Everybody is looking at Microsoft in the last few years. Everybody is looking at, let's say, I don't know, what was the guy of Tesla, who is not Elon Musk, who is not a great presenter, but the presentation itself, for example, if we talk about the slides, are phenomenal. And they know and they compare, right? They always compare. So I was leaving the room, and so I went for a coffee, which was the ultimate answer for this person, right? And the ultimate rating for her in this case. And a few moments later, a friend of mine left the room also and asked me, "Hey, did you see what happened?" I was like, "No," because I'm obviously outside. So I was not physically in the room anymore. So he said, "Hey, one person from the audience raised their hand, stood up, and in front of everybody, and this is 400-500 people in a room, right? So that's a big audience, said, 'Hey, excuse me for asking, but do you really believe that it is professional for you to go on stage unprepared?'" That was the question for the privacy director of Facebook for the CEE region, in front of 500 people. Everyone heard that, and it's related to you. So imagine you being on stage and somebody asking you that in front of everybody.
I can't.
That is brutal. I mean, even I questioned myself afterwards, and I was like, if a client of ours asks us how would they kind of fix the situation, right? What would they need to do to kind of fix that, right? If it happens to them for some reason, right? And they have 35 more minutes to speak in front of that group of people. Like, what would they do, right? And I have my thesis, right? I think that I can figure it out by saying, let's say, okay, that was stupid. I agree. That was stupid. I'm here for you guys. I know a lot of things that you don't know. Let's turn this into a conversation. I'll answer anything. Right? Maybe something like this will kind of fix it. And if the answers of this person then later are really cool and really interesting, slowly but steadily it would fix the situation, right? Maybe. But afterwards, like 30 minutes later, I actually saw the organizer of the event.
Oh,
She was furious, right? I mean, she was furious. So yeah, that was probably one of the biggest failures I have experienced at an event. And it's again related to preparation and to the speaker obviously not meeting some type of deadline. And they have put everybody and made the organizer extremely angry, like extremely angry. Yeah.
I mean, as you said, people have been looking at Apple and Google and Microsoft these past few years, and it's important to understand that we live in such a digital age that this comparison is now available to anybody who has some sort of device that connects to the internet. So the bar is just set so high.
Yeah.
Because, you know, maybe 10 years ago, you could get away with pretty much anything because we weren't at a place where we can monitor these things. But now we are. So you better step up your game.
It's insane. Okay. So last, where can people find more about DATEL, the Global Excel Summit? What are the channels? What are the places that we should recommend them check?
DATELProductions.com.
Okay.
GlobalExcelSummit.com. You can find everything there.
Easy and simple. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. Just 2 websites. We will make sure that we link those up in the show notes so that people can check them out and just click on them. And again, I would definitely recommend, not because I'm one of the speakers of this event, and also we are going to be one of the exhibitors at the event, but just because if you guys go on the website of the Global Excel Summit, you see what I mean when I say, hey, these guys think in a different way when we talk about events. So again, kudos to your whole team, to the organization for what you're doing. It was, at least for me, it was an inspiration to see, hey, wait a minute, it is possible, right? It is possible to think in a different way when we talk about events, because I got used to some like very mediocre type of executions, of events. And so kudos to everything that you have been doing in the last, a year now for this event. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for spending the time here. It is already 50 minutes. I don't know if we...
Honestly, my pleasure.
50 minutes. Yeah, 50 minutes here. I hope that people took some insights in regards to, hey, here is what is going to happen with me if I decide to speak at some event, or I get invited to speak, or I am kind of pointed or referred to speak at an event by somebody else. Again, thanks again for taking the time, and hopefully I'll see you at some point in the future in London or in any other place. I don't know. Who knows?
Look forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So for everyone else, Global Excel Summit, DATELProductions.com, and our conference, which is like 2 or 3 months after the Excel Summit, which is called Present to Succeed. Again, let's keep it simple, presenttosucceed.com. So if you want to know more about it, we are also bringing the top and brightest minds in the presentation industry for you guys. So if you want to join it, if you want to learn more, go there, check it out. And yeah, hopefully you got a lot of interesting points from this one, and see you in the next one. Bye.